I had to replace the window regulator motor, I guess it's called. Um, you can find videos on how to take the door apart, pretty standard procedure. I won't get into that. It's just this was really a pain in the butt job. I will say a couple things. These are my tips. The window, in my case, was when the motor died. Here's the old motor. It's just shot. The window died in the lowest possible position. So if that's the case, it's very difficult to get in and remove the motor. So my goal was to replace the motor without replacing this whole mechanism. I didn't want to have to get in and redo this whole window regulator thing. I just wanted to try to do the motor first. There are videos out there where people have successfully done the motor, but the window has been in the up position as mine is now. Mine died in the low position. So I guess the trick is to replace your motors before they die. I didn't do that. So when it died, the window was down in here. Very difficult to get this other hand in here. I only had the speaker hole. So there's the 3 screws. There is actually 4 screws that I was able to get out just one-handed, and I have this little mirror thing which helped just to kind of see what's going on in there. But ultimately what was the key was, even though when you get the motor all the screws out, okay, when you get all the screws out, it's still stuck in there because the gear is kind of in a cup, a recessed area, and you can't get it out. There's just not enough room. So the trick I found was I actually removed this screw, and this screw. I loosened up this 4th one. So what that allowed me to do was push the metal mechanism out just enough to get those gears away from the regulator, which is, I guess, what the thing is that goes up and down. Once I got the old motor out, I was able to manually push the window up. I have these 2 big on the other side to hold it up, suction cup, glass suction cup doodads, keep the window from crashing down. You could also get a piece of wood. Some way you want to secure the window so it doesn't come down, okay, because that could be very bad. So you want to do that. I was able to push it out. I was able to reinstall the new motor, which, here's the cable. I tested it before I put it in. I got the door switch, I hooked it up, turned the car into accessory mode, tried the window thing, and the motor spun, so I know I'm not putting in a bad motor, doing all this work and for nothing. So now I'm just reassembling it, and I have to get in there and put the screws back in, which is a pain, but I'm pretty positive and optimistic that this will happen because now these bolts I could see are aligned. I put this one in just to help me out. But really, in doing this job, I found that the turning point, if you will, was loosening up these bolts, if not removing them, these screws, which gives you some play. You can push that regulator out a little bit, and then that motor pops out actually quite easily. And then you get the new one in, and it sort of just aligns, and you start getting in the screws, and you should be good to go. So I'm going to finish putting everything back together. While it was apart, I actually purchased new speakers because the stock speakers are god-awful. I found that there's a connection up here to install tweeter speakers. This car was an X, an 04X, so it didn't have all that fancy stuff, but I may put in tweeters at some point. Now that I'm looking at it, it actually looks pretty easy to do. So while I have it open, I'm going to do that, maybe put some sound deadening stuff in here. I don't know. But that's all icing on the cake. The main thing is I got this dopey motor in, and I didn't want to go over how I got the door apart. There's lots of videos on that. But for me, like I said, loosening these screws here was really what helped. I was able to get the motor out quite easily, pushing the window up, securing the window, world of difference. So if you have to do this, try that. Try just taking these bolts out or loosening them, and maybe saves you some time. You don't have to do the whole regulator. You could just kind of do the motor. Okay? Good luck.